the stories of ladies and gentlemen that have partnered into this uncommon grace. Here with me is Elder Kanteza. How are you today?
I'm quite alright, madam, and yourself.
I am great. Tell us about yourself.
Well, as you heard, my name is Moses Kanteta. I work for Electricity Supply Commission of Malawi, ESCOM. Besides that, I'm also doing my own business. I'm into bridal car hire, co-ride, and I'm also a motivational speaker.
All right. So quite the package. Somebody who has a career, a side business, somebody who understands entrepreneurship and doing so many things. All right. So the main gist of Friends of Breakout, or being a friend of Breakout, is becoming something that you're elevating even more with your grace.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us what your journey with grace has been.
My journey with grace has been so wonderful, and so much so that, briefly, I can say the grace has brought me from the shadows to the spotlight.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. Well, you've mentioned your business.
Yes.
One of the perks of being a friend of Breakout is this incredible networking and business platform that it will provide all registered members.
Exactly.
So already I can see that your logos and your banners are here on display. So already you're already partaking in this very amazing grace.
Yeah.
What does it mean for somebody to be the kind of Christian that not only tithes or gives when the church asks, but recognizing that tapping into grace requires even more giving? What is your understanding of giving and the prosperity that comes with giving?
The moment you give, you unlock your own fortune. It's like an open check. Dictate or just mention how much you want God to do for you. So that begins through giving. The moment you put it to yourself with this kind of grace, things just happen by themselves. There are times when I was broke, when I got no money, I got no what. But when I started understanding this thing called giving and partnering with this grace, so many things changed my life. Just to mention a few, I couldn't think of driving such kind of cars. But as you can see, it's by the grace that I can own that kind of cars. That's it.
All right, an incredible story of elevation and coming up in the world and doing so much and having the capacity and the know-how and the means of making use of this grace. So thank you so much, Elder. Enjoy the rest of this gala, which of course is being launched by Apostle Joseph Ziwa himself.
Friends of Breakout, but this is the moment we have been waiting for. Amen. The man that is about to come is the reason why we all are in this room. Because of the grace that he has carried, because of the spirit that the Lord has enrolled on his life. I will stand forever and tell everyone that the people that I've met, the preachers that I've met, there has not been one that has outshined the ministry that God has given me and the one that he has had upon my life. But the most important thing also is that the man that is about to speak to us and address us is an international, well-known conference speaker that goes around not just to inspire, but to be the voice of God into so many ministries, so many churches, and so many people that have come to know the Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, thousands follow him. It is an honor for me and for many of you that are in this room that we can be part of the fellowship, of the partners and fellow workers with him, especially in support and in use of our finances. Would you please stand on your feet? I want us to put our hands together for the grace of God. Would you turn around and just give a handshake to your friend? Just give a handshake to your friend. want to bring enlightenment to what exactly we are doing here. I followed the presentation with keen interest, and I know it is also so with the all of you here. Many of you, I know you have been challenged by the testimonies you have heard. We couldn't present all the testimonies of the grace impact. We had 1 month that we would just set aside to hear what the grace has done to many people. And I was really challenged to hear many people standing and sharing their stories. And I know some of you have heard about these stories, you have read about these stories maybe on our forums, different forums. And we know many of us that are here have been encouraged by the same to connect ourselves to this grace, because we know what is going to result in our lives. In the scriptures, in 2 Corinthians chapter 2 Corinthians chapter, before I really come to what I want to share with you, chapter 3, the very last verse. It's a very common scripture. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18. Verse 18. The Bible says, but we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same. The word the same simply means the same glory that you see. So when you stand and you see the glory of God, you are changed into the same glory, which means if you are denied to see the glory of God, you are also prevented to change. If you want to change in God, it is only when God allows you to see the glory of God. And he says, changed into the same image from glory to glory. So, the honor from God for us to see the glory of God, it's the platform of our transformation. Many of us, we don't know that when we are able to come and encounter the glory of God, God, in fact, is simply trying to change us. We come together to see what God is doing. I was just sharing to some people about how miracles were captured in the scriptures. And sometimes you think it is just a record of a story, but that's not exactly why the miracles were captured. If you open your eyes and see the capturing of the miracles in its moment, you see more than just a record of a story. It's not just for you to read the history, to read what Jesus did. There is much more that is presented when you're reading the scriptures, and also when you're studying what Jesus did. The Bible tells us in John chapter 1, verse 14. I wanted you just to see this. John chapter 1, verse 14. St. John chapter 1, verse 14, it says, and the word was made flesh, and he dwelt amongst us, and we beheld his glory. And I want you to see the pronoun his there. They are trying to personalize the glory that we saw. That when we read the scriptures, we see the glory of Jesus. We beheld the glory of Jesus. He says that glory is the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. That's what we see. When we read the scriptures and we see the miracles of Jesus, you see the glory of Jesus Christ. But the Bible says when you see the glory, you are changed into the same. And let me tell you something, when the glory changes you, people now don't simply see the glory of God. They are able to see the glory of your life. which God has imparted in you. They can see the grace you carry. And for your information, when people see you, when they are able to see the glory that you carry, they are also changed into the same glory. And that's the reason why some people have got transformative power. They can change others. It's because they have allowed God to change them first. When you allow God to change you, you become the color of His expression of His glory. And these people, when you meet, you can see yourself in them. Because that's the way God has actually made it to be. That the glory should transform us, should change us. And when glory comes on the life of a person, it becomes the catalyst of change for others. That's the reason why when you meet others, if you were following the testimonies of Dr. Moyo, he said when he met the apostle, let me not say when he met me, when he met the apostle, he was able to say, I'll stay here. It's not because of anything. There was something in me that he saw of himself. And that which he saw in me, it is the result of the glory that has changed my life. There are people you meet in life, you don't get attracted to. But there's others you meet in life, you see something of yourself in them. Because that's how God wants us to change. He has allowed other people to be the expression of your future, expression of your character. That when you meet them, you see something of yourself in them. And you know that's how you want to end in this life.
Oh, yes.
You know yourself, that's the way I want to end in my life. That's the reason why. Apart from you seeing the glory of God, maybe from different forms, glory manifests in different words. Ask God to show you the glory that other men carry. Because that encounter of that glory has got precedence. It's different from maybe you say, how should I put it? How it becomes so easy for you to relate and follow your life or follow the life of someone. I mean, to do something for yourself as you follow the life of someone. It becomes very easy in life. Very difficult sometimes for you to start by yourself from the glory you see from the scriptures. But God will present a person, a life. That's the reason in St. John the Bible says all this were written for our learning. So we have to learn from the story of other people. Up to this day, other people's lives is a lesson, is a teaching of your life. Is it something that tells you this is what you can achieve? This is possible. And if you let God to open your eyes, you will find out the next move and the next chapter of your life has always been presented to you in an easy way. But you did know because you couldn't open your eyes to behold the glory which God has placed in someone else for your sake. And that's what we see from the scriptures. You see, I remember when you came to tell me that I'm resigning. I am a very challenging person. But when somebody else follows my steps, I get scared. Because I don't know if he knows really what it takes to take those steps. He comes and tells me, I'm resigning. I started looking at the number of years he has worked. Just 1 year and some months. He wants to resign. After working 1 year, some months, I was looking at him and said, does he even know what he's doing? Then I asked him, I said, why do you want to resign now? Just because he told me of a story that I shared about myself. He said, in one of your meetings that you were telling us about your life, how you launched a business without anything, and how you trusted God for nothing, and you knew God is going to be there with you. I said, if really I'm going to follow this man, there must be something in my life too that I will do without knowing what will be the next thing, but just trusting the Lord. He says, sir, I want to resign not when I have gathered the capital, because that will be different from your story. I want to resign now when I don't know where I'm going to get the capital. Some of you know the story, mostly for some of you that have sat under me on Rising on Top. I shared the story how I launched one big secondary school without one time. I've shared it in many platforms. And he says, I want to experience the same. And here he is today. You see, it's when, how many people did I share, or have I shared the same story? Too many. But how many have related the same story as their story to? Few. Because those few, God has allowed them to see the glory of their lives in somebody's glory. If God doesn't open your eyes, you have someone else whom God has raised to help you. He has actually brought him as someone that will help you to fly easily in life. But you keep on enjoying his teachings without really making him an example of your life, an inspiration of your life, and say, whatever we hear from this man, that's what I'll take for myself. We want this platform to give you the honor of seeing yourself in somebody's life. You should come to a deeper connection with that person. It should be an encounter of grace than just a sharing of it. It should be a platform where you say, I want this platform to leave you no alternative to turn to. You should have only one alternative, is to do what you hear, to do what you see. So that whatever you hear, you know that's what's going to happen to my life. I am a minister of the gospel, but the glory that I share, the glory that I carry, is not just for those people that end up as ministers of the gospel. It's for everyone. Everyone. And believe you me, this platform will help us a lot. Will help us a lot. Praise God. Praise God. Hallelujah. Oh yes, that's what is happening. So, there is a way that God brings us into this intercourse, into this close connection, where you encounter the image of a person or of someone else, or you encounter the glory of someone. Here's the way of doing it. There are people that you meet, but God will demand you to take some steps to really connect fully, so that it shouldn't be people you have met, but people that you have encountered. Because what changes really in you, or what brings results in your life, it's only that which you have really encountered. You can meet so many people, but there are some people you encounter them. It is an encounter of their image, encounter of their personality, and they leave a mark in your life. There were so many people that attended Catholic Common meetings, You're here today, you're like, if I was there, my life wouldn't have been the same. But there are many people that benefited from his anointing and went back home and thanked God for the healing they got from her. But there are others that we know today, they got more than a healing because they encountered the person of God in common. Many of you know the story of some of the notable men of God today that were ushers. They were ushering, helping ushering in Catholic common meetings. Today, they are world evangelists because they did not just encounter, so they did not just go there to hear what Catholic common was saying. They encountered the person, the glory of Catholic common, and something remained on their lives. So there is a way. There is a way that God has provided for one person to connect himself to the point of an encounter of what that person is. And I want you to open this with me just to see something else. I want you to see. I'm not taking long, but what I'm sharing to you is going to help you a lot. In 2 Corinthians chapter 8, leading from verse 4, starting from verse 4, it says, just the 4, it says, praying us with much entreaty that we will receive the gift. The expression, even in the Greek text, it means these people pressed on. They desired strongly that they shouldn't miss the opportunity. It wasn't like, okay, we'll join you. No, they said, no. This is a chance. And I'm going to press on until I get this chance. He says, with much entreaty that we will receive the gift. They says, you have to get this. So there was a driving force behind this passion. You are not just seeing people that are passionate to give. No. There was something that was driving them to do what they are going to do. He says, to take upon the fellowship of the ministering to the saints. We want to be part of this. And if you start from verse 1, let me just show you. Verse 1, it says, moreover, brethren, we do you to wit of the grace of God bestowed on the churches of Macedonia. The grace that was upon him. He says in verse 2, he says, how that in a great trial, not when things are comfortable, when they had plenty, no, but in a great trial of affliction and their deep poverty. So they were in a great trial of affliction and they were in deep poverty. But there was something else that was driving them. The passion came from the abundance of joy. Abundance of joy. You know, joy is the fruit of the Spirit. So there was something that was sparked in their spirit, lit in their spirit, that overcame and superseded the circumstances of their lives. That all what they could receive was the joy of doing it, rather than trying to look at where they are. Do we have enough? You know, the Bible says, out of the joy that was set ahead of him in Hebrews, Jesus despised the pain of the cross. So there was something else that God, put in their spirit that became their driver, their passion to do this. And he says, they said, we have to take the fellowship. And you know the word fellowship has got three common meanings. Three common meanings. Number one is partnership. They said, we want to take the partnership of ministry. Partnership of ministry. So we can be partners. Partners. meaning working together, being in one business, so that wherever Paul and the other saints we are going or we are doing, we can also be counted to be part of what we are doing. Number 2 is participation. Participation. So you are participating. You are not just, partnering, you are actually taking part in what is happening. So that when one stretches the hand, you're also stretching the hand wherever you are. When someone says, Apostle, God bless you, he's also saying, you should be blessed. Because you are part of it. So everything else that is going on with that man that you have actually entered into participation or partnership, it's also happening with you. It's also happening with you. And the last one is the word intercourse, meaning close connection. Many times we don't talk about the last one, but I want to talk about the last one. So the givings brought them into close connection with those that we are doing it. Close connection. Close connection. They became one out of giving. And that's the reason why many of you have seen how you are brought closer with the people that you give to. And one sign, let me tell you all pastors, one sign that you should know somebody has started being drifting away from you is when he has got problems to give. When he begins to question, if I give, are you going to buy a new suit? If I give, is this going to happen to you? If he's not enjoying to provide his resources to you, he has started drifting away in his connection with your life. It's a very good sign. For you to start sensing danger, just check if he has got a problem to pay tithe. Because something tells him, if I pay tithe, it will go to him. Right? So because I don't care about him, I will never give tithe. Some of the people, they give tithe because they care about you so much. In fact, they rejoice when they hear that tithe has gone to you. I'm not giving you a ticket to mismanage the tithe. That you should say, see, I'm doing this so that you should feel close connection. No. But I'm saying, it's a clear sign. The battle that the person can have just to provide him with resources, it's because he has lost the close connection with you. That's what we do in the families when we start fighting. The very first thing you see is money is not found. You don't leave money at all. Your wife will struggle just to get money from you, but there was a time she was not supposed to ask you for money at all, because you could just leave it somewhere. But now from nowhere, you say there's a change of a policy in this family. No, it's not a change of a policy. It's a manifestation. That close connection, that intercourse, that close connection is no longer there. You don't feel like providing to your friend. You don't go out together anymore. You stop buying gifts. You can remember buying things for yourself, but not for your spouse. Close connection is not there. So when they get their resources, they knew what the resources are going to do. They will bring us into close connection. Close connection. One thing you see from people that mostly I just pick the one that has testified. Even the one that tested, many of you heard the story of Togo Chikondi. People that have enjoyed the grace of God in a deeper way. One secret that people don't see is the close connection they have with the grace carrier. And they enjoy to provide their resources. I don't have a light to review their giving life.
But these are people that have planted seeds in millions. Planted seeds in millions. When I was hearing a story, I said, you are very, very humble. Very, very humble. Because the only example she picked was how she tithed from 20,000. But she never told you I also tithe from 20 million. 20,000, 10,000, 200 kwacha is not different from 20 million. It's the same to me. They didn't share these stories. But what is behind this passion? What is behind this? Close connection. It's not difficult. They don't need to think twice. They're so connected to the grace that they can do anything else to provide for it. Yeah. I'm saying this so that you can see it's not something that a pastor believes. But I'm encouraging you. Babna wasn't in church for some time because of something genuine which she needed to for like 2-3 months, I think. The day she came back, all the tithe for 3 months with the dates. I wasn't there on this month, but this day I was supposed to do this. I wasn't there. On this day I was supposed to do this. She blocked all that. You don't simply, you see, when you see people benefiting from the grace, you don't know the lifestyle they follow. I don't want you to think there is a shortcut to certain things. It's not the mouth only. It's how serious and how covenant, how you practice the covenant, the principles that God has said, if you do this, I'll do this. Not when one leg is the other side. Every month you are in a casualty ward. Every month you're in a casualty ward. We have what can change us. This platform can change us. Can change us. Can make us different. We can be an example, not for only Malawian church, but all over the world. What it means to participate in grace. These stories we are hearing from all these people can become common stories of everyone that is in the church. Everyone can have a story of how grace is working in his life. How you have come to contact grace and encounter it. How you have taken steps, not just to keep on hearing, but to encounter it. So that it has left something on your life. It's very possible. Very, very possible. I can tell you of anyone that I've seen there is a success in his life or in her life. I can tell you that it is because of how serious that person is in practicing the principles of God. And it has brought those people into close contact with what is available in this vision. Close contact into what is available. This is the reason why now you will notice something. In Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16. He says, let us therefore come boldly. Can you all say boldly? Boldly. So he's speaking about our confidence to approach God. Our confidence to approach God. He says, come boldly unto the throne of grace. Oh no, that's a repetition. That's a repetition. What gives one confidence to come before God? What gives one the confidence to become grace? Also, to come before God? The grace of God. Because grace of God is an end favor. It is that favor that God gives to you is the favor He shows you without regard of your mistakes. When it is affecting you, you can come before God without looking at what exactly you have done. You know, all of us, by our own righteousness, we can't stand before God. But there is something that covers us, that without us qualifying, without us speaking out what we have really done, we still stand bold in the presence of God, covered by the grace of God. But the Bible says, boldness, there is a grace that gives you that boldness. And when it gives you access, that grace gives you access to find another grace. I call this dimensions of grace. I've never shared it, I'm sharing for the first time to you. Grace is not the same. There is a dangerous level of grace, and it is stationed in the throne room of God. There is a grace that finds you while you're a sinner. While you're a sinner, God favors you. But there is a grace, you find it in the presence of God. That level of grace is completely different from a saving grace, where you say, I was a sinner, and by the grace of God, I'm now saved. By the grace of God, now I'm a child of God. But that is not the end of you pursuing grace. Because there is another higher dimension of grace waiting for you in the throne room of God. The grace will simply give you access. The first grace will give you confidence to come before God. That other dimension, at that level, you are not just impacted, affected by the grace. You will smell grace wherever you go. You will smell grace. You can even release it to others. Because it's not just the grace you found it from the scriptures. It's the grace that you have encountered it in the throne room of God. And this platform is changing levels of grace in our lives. Changing levels of grace in our lives. Changing levels of grace in our lives. Oh, Radabasanta. Oh yes, it is changing levels of grace in our lives. It will bring us to where many of us, we already have, we all have grace by connecting ourselves to be part of Fountain of Victory. But we are taking dangerous steps. I call them dangerous. Where you say, I did this, I gave my car. We did this, we committed ourselves to this. And this we will bring you into an encountered grace. Encountered grace. That's the reason why in Acts 4 verse 33, Acts 4 verse 33, I love the equation of grace there. I love the equation of grace. He says, and with great power. It means there is power, but there is great power. With great power, gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And then there is a call. Meaning we are not changing what we are saying. What is behind the great power? Great grace. Great grace produced the great power. And that's what you should expect it from today. So let nobody think that, oh, we also give there. Says no. We have a platform to push ourselves to an encountered grace. What you see after this is a great grace in our lives. Great grace that will result great power in our life. In the name of Jesus Christ. So I welcome you to the great grace in this place. I welcome you now to the great grace. To the great grace. To the great grace in your life. To the great grace. Let's have our hands on the worship. Just bless and speak in tongues right now. From this platform, you are going to manifest great grace in your life. 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 Yanda mande reza katarabaya. Zende reza katarabaya. Oh yes. It's gonna happen to you. 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 It's gonna happen to your life. It's gonna happen to your life. How do we define grace? This is my last portion. This is my last part of my delivery. How should we define grace? Very, very common definition of grace is that grace is an end or unmerited favor of God. An end, unmerited favor of God. An end, unmerited favor of God. It is an end, unmerited or unmerited favor of God. Grace, therefore, now should be defined to us as an end or unmerited favor of God. It means it is that which allows you to have a treatment from God, for God to look at you without actually regarding about who you are, without you asking for you to qualify, without asking you to qualify. Now, in one of the message, I spoke that this definition for a long time people have not seen and realized that it has got only one direction. This unmerited favor is the definition of grace from God to manward. It's the definition of grace from God to manward. But where we have failed is now to define grace from man to God, Godward. To God, what? To towards God. We are looking at the grace of God. We are looking in terms of how God has done or shown his love to man without regard of his life. An end and a merited favor. But I love to define grace from man to God. So grace, number 2, should be defined as a virtue that qualifies man to do things that he doesn't qualify. So it allows him to stand before God and do things without regard of his qualification. Or simply, grace is what allows man to do things beyond his limits. They say you're a Malawian, you're from third world country, you're from Africa, or you're a black person, or you're like this, and this is how far you can go. Grace of God defies those limitations. It is a virtue in you, and when it is operating in your life, it changes even the way you think. You think beyond the limits of your contemporaries. You may do things at a younger age because of the grace of God. It allows you to see life beyond how everyone sees life at that age. That's the power that allows you to see beyond what everyone in your skin color looks at life. It's the grace of life that makes one who is a servant to think that he's a king. To start calling himself as a king when he's coming from a bedsitter. It is what makes you dream. Dream. You know, all of us dreams. Many of you know that naturally dreams are the reflection of your environment. There's no way you can dream of a certain animal that you have never seen in your life. So The exposure of your life limits your dream. That's the reason why every one of us that have ever seen anything, you see, monster like chasing us. You see Kule Wankuru because that's what you see. Or that's what you know. But grace defies those limitations. You can dream as if you were born in America. You have never known any slavery. You have never known any poverty. Grace impacts you. It's a virtue. It's a virtue. And that's how I want you to define grace. It is at work in you. It is a virtue of God. It is causing you to go beyond your limitations. It is what will make you to do things outside the boundary of your life. You were told this is so far. Boundary, outside the boundary of your education. You were told if you have got masters, if you have got degree, if you have got, you can go up to this far. Grace of God will define that and cause you to go beyond it. In Jesus' mighty name. Welcome to the grace platform. To the grace platform. To the grace platform. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen and amen. I wanted to present this definition. Now, our categories have got special names. They are very prophetic, spiritual. We wanted to take a different path from the normal. Many of you know we normally call the first platinum, and then we go down like that. We have 4 categories. We will use the word platinum for the sake of others that may not understand. But this will be the word that will be introduced after they have known what, when they have registered and they have said our platinum, and then they will be told. Under all these names, there will be a special teaching that everyone who says, I am platinum, then he will fall under a certain teaching. I want him to connect himself to the grace of that category. He should know now what he has connected himself to. That's how it's going to be like. So there will be some teachings that will fall under each. The first one is Bala. Is B-A-L-A-L, for the sake that we all write the right spelling. B-A-L-A, for your own information. Bala is a Hebrew word that means overflow. It's not just overflow, it's empowered to overflow. I should put it in that way. Empowered to overflow. At this level, your cup does not run dry. At this level, even if you do a foolish decision, it is still profit you at the end. There is no loss at this level. At this level, God has entered into a covenant with you that you will never lack. Now some of you says, is it there anything like that? Yes. God can enter a covenant with a person that even if you don't want money, the man will still chase you. Even if you say, I'm closing all my accounts, bank accounts, I'm closing them because I don't want money at all. You'll find someone has opened an account in your name and there is 1.2 billion just waiting for you. Because at this level, you are Bala, anointed to overflow. This is for platinum members. I know those that are clapping hands are the platinum subscribers. But that's the whole reason why you need to upgrade first. Okay? Don't upgrade by faith. But at your level, just put time. Okay? Say, I will be at this level for only 6 months. I will use the grace of this level to upgrade me to this higher level. Amen? At this level is 1 million above. And believe you me, there will be people that will come, one person, to give 10 million. 20 million. One person. At this level, at overflow. That's why you see people say, I've bought a bus. Planning you. I'm giving it over to the work of God. Praise God. Number 2. There are 4 categories. So I've started with the top. The first one. This one, many of you know. It's Minishaki. Minishaki. M-I-M-S-H-A-C-K. Minishaki. Minishaki. This means expansion or spreading or anointed to expand, anointed to spread. You are not yet at overflow. Because overflow, it means you have fulfilled your territory. You are speeding yourself over to where you're not supposed to be. So you have fulfilled Malawi. You are destined to impact Malawi. But you are too much. That your story now is being discussed in Mozambique. That's expand, that's overflow. But at this ministry, you are trying to fill your territory. Spreading, covering everything that you were meant to cover at this level. From Red Sea to the river Euphrates. God says, I've given it over to you. So you are not living at this level. Ideas will come one after another, one after another. You wonder, you have started one business, another opportunity opens up. Oh yes. If it's in ministry, it's one after another, bombarding with one after another, one after another. You're like, what has become of me now? When you think this is over, another thing is coming, expanding until you cover the territory. Those of you that are in the ministry, you have to get excited. Because what I was sharing to people, and I don't know if people got me right, that one thing that God is about to do is to connect us to a person that will carry our story to where we are supposed to be. So you will not need to look for to take an effort to get there. You will just meet a person that you will impact, and you will take your story to the palace. That's how we are going to spread. That's how we are going to spread. Yesterday I was connecting one of our sons to one of my friends in the US. That's how it's going to be. I say, I've got a friend, he's a musician, and you're found at the right place. Can you talk? So I talked to my friend from US and to our daughter. I said, hey, there will be somebody else that's going to call. Talk. Because I can see something big. So agree. That's how it's going to be. From where you think you have gone for shopping, God says no. You are here for expansion. You are here for expansion. You will meet some of you people in ShopRite. You will think I've gone for shopping in ShopRite, in a shop. But God says it's for a mention, He's waiting for you. It's for expansion. It's going to happen. I wanted to say, okay, let me release it. Because I want you to be alive. I'm not yet done. I want you to be there. That's how it's going to be. The third. How much? Oh, okay. I'll come.
after, let me just go through it, then I'll explain. I'll give you the amounts. The amounts. I hope somebody has given me the project with me here. The amounts are with me here. Number 3, you shall. You shall. Y-I-T-S-H-A-R. You shall. You shall. Y-I-T-S-H-A-R. You have never held someone. You shall is the grace and the anointing that causes what is in you to begin showing itself out. You know, when you are buried for some time, your gift is covered, your talent is covered. No one knows that you are anointed. You can do ABCD. You shall bless the covering. It blacks the covering and I put you on the platform. It is normally synonymous in the scriptures to light, because light will locate a place where everybody can see. If you're a light, God says, I don't put you under the bushel, but where now you can give to everybody. By this anointing, you will never stay at a company that doesn't appreciate your qualifications. You will move so fast in the ladder until you find your platform. A platform where you will not delay. You know, people stay at one place until they retire, not knowing if they had moved to another place, they could not have retired as a junior manager. They could have retired as a CEO. But just because they took a wrong path, you shall bless the coverings and limitations that are trying to hinder the full exposure of your potential. So with you shall, you make decisions in life to locate where you can show light. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's what God said to us. He said, Philippines will be your Isha. You will not waste your time. You can go round, missing your Isha. But when you're anointed, the grace of Isha is coming on you. You don't waste your time. You come at a place. That's what happens to us. He spoke to us in 2013 about Asia. When we had no one. We didn't know anyone that can take us to Asia. We have never heard of anyone from Malawi who has ever gone to Asia. But Isha said, that's your platform. And from nowhere, Isha allocated a person. A Filipino walked in my office to ask you for help in 2014 when God had spoken in 2013. I forgot all this. But the last day when I was praying for her, that she's going back, God reminded me. That's the platform I showed you. That the world will come to know him through Philippines. She went there, sprayed our name. And then the other year, Church of Growth Philippines invited us. And we landed in Philippines. And the second, I don't know if it's the first year, second year, once we were preaching in one church, TBN Asia came to capture us. Our story spread. Now we are able to go for Sacred Revival in USA from one Yesha. When Yesha anointing works to you, it finds a way. So that you don't waste your time. 10 years you are failing to find where should I be. This will be the history of someone. You will never waste, no delay in your life. Your journey of success, your journey to success will be so fast. People will not be able to imitate or copy you. You'll be too much because of this. Oh yes. The last one. I'm sorry to say this. I didn't want to think so much. I said, Lord, this is the foundation We all start from the grace. But I did want to say charis. But Cain. Cain is a common grace Hebrew word. Charis is a Greek. Many of you know that. Huh? But Cain. So we'll maintain Cain so that it is different from the common word charis. Cain. C-H. C-H-E-N. That's all. We start from Cain. Shouldn't be made more complicated. That's an entry. An entry point. I didn't want to make it more exciting because if I make it more exciting at entry point, you will stay there. I didn't want to make many stay at the Cain level. Praise the Lord. Let me get the figures. So the figures that fall in these categories that I've given to you will be given soon. Some of you will stand here and will present those figures to you. I ask all of you to take a responsibility to grow this platform. You are not growing this platform not just because you want many to contribute their resources, but because you know the grace that is available in this platform. And if you really care and love your loved ones, your relations, your church members, your friends, you connect them to something that they can also benefit. I want you, all of you that have registered today, to become FBO ambassadors wherever you come from. Look at yourself as representing us in the community that you come from. If you are a professional person, take the story, take the news to them. Encourage someone. If you are an architect, engineer, you are a doctor, a business person, whatever you are found, if you at all you have an opportunity, tell them where everything that is happening to you is coming from. If you don't celebrate it, if you have a problem to celebrate it, and celebrating of spiritual things, in most of the times, God doesn't ask us to do this in church. God says, I will publish this among the heathens. And many of us, we don't know how to celebrate the grace of God, not amongst ourselves, but amongst those people who don't know this. If you have a chance, whether maybe you are giving an interview, but you know the audience are the people who don't know God, do not forget to mention the grace of God in your life. It is going to be a very big area of your life just to comment that you are qualified, when you know at the back of your mind it's the grace of God behind it. Don't feel ashamed to tell somebody who doesn't believe in God that it is God that is at work in my life. Many of us, we have not, confessed to Jesus in the places that God created just for that sake. But because we are so afraid and we're not used to that, we shared something completely different and God closed the door. Because we didn't know that this was an opportunity for us to carry the story to the whole world. Let everyone know that this is the grace. And do not try to beat the bush. Don't go around the plant. Go straight. Hit it on the nail. I am what I am because of the grace of God. And this grace of God, I got it from this place, from this man of God. Don't go around it. You have no idea. Jesus says, if you do this before everyone, I will have also audacity to do the same before the angels. And you don't know what happens in life when Jesus is celebrating you before the heavens. What will follow? If God in heaven finds pressure to talk about you, to mention your name before heavenly hosts, I said, that's my son. That's because you can celebrate his name here. I loved when he was doing the presentation, he shouted hallelujah and so he, and he said, oh, forgive me because I'm a church person. Make godly thing become, do them unconsciously. In a boardroom, say hallelujah there. Let everybody know where your wisdom comes from. Everywhere you are. Do not have two faces. Don't be spiritual when you're in church. And you're completely zero, dry when you're outside. We know what grace of God is, but they don't know what grace of God is. So everyone here, I'm asking you, by the message of God, become an ambassador of this platform. Take this story where it matters. I one time said I kind of get disappointed sometimes, and I will say this: there have been 2 or 3 people that I knew it won't go far, but sometimes because I'm a pastor, I will tell them the reason why you stop everything that I started is because you're failing to recognize the grace of God in your life. And if you're going to go far, God will not be happy with you. You started with the grace of God, but you're failing to recognize it. You should be proud of what is behind you. Don't buy a favor of man before you have bought favor of God. It is nothing for you to buy favor of man. One person, well-known rich man, when he was given a chance at the interview, he says, choose one person that you will invite at a dinner. He says, my pastor. You will not think of a pastor to be the first person you invite at your dinner. You will say another professional person, or this man of God, this person because he has achieved this also. Who inspires you? Number one is your man of God, is God himself. Then you say, then there are other people that inspire me. You fail to see the grace of God. You fail to recognize what is behind your success. God will take it away from you. Because you are trampling on something that is holy. You are behaving as a donkey who can trample on something that is holy. God says, you don't see the value of it, and I'm going to take it away from you. And then you are a Christian, you cannot participate in the grace of God. I want you to be an ambassador. Make the grace story and the FBO, or make it viral. I should say it in that way. Make it viral. Put yourself on a stage that says, I'm a proud member of FBO. Let everybody know. Everywhere you go. And let people begin to ask, what is this? Then, share it out. Tell them, it's the place that is all what I am today. In Jesus' mighty name. God bless you all. I am looking forward to keep on interacting with you. There will be many teachings that I'm going to be sharing very, very soon. That will be exclusive only on this platform. I will never share them anywhere. I will just share to the members of FBO. Welcome to the grace story in Jesus' mighty name. Just a minute, let me finish this. I have been sharing so many things on grace, and today it will be unfair and injustice on my part to you not to give you a chance to get the package. I don't know how much you get from this. 2, 3, 4. It's a 6 CD pack. All this is about grace. You see all
grace. I've taken time to explain what grace is, how we grow in grace, the measure, the virtue, and everything else in detail. And if you listen to these 7 messages, you have a complete understanding of what grace of God is. I have explained something, and I'm proud to say this, which I have corrected the fear and the wrong teaching that is going around mostly in the Western countries about grace. I have shown exactly where the whole mistake started from, where they missed it in the scripture, to see grace in the wrong way. Those who preach it and those who, those that have been also on the receiving end. You will see for yourself, so that you are not just a radical grace preacher. I don't believe you to be a radical grace preacher, but you are a preacher of grace who has been fully informed and understood what grace is. You're not just being radical. So I've gone through so many, which I couldn't bring it now, but you will go with this gift, and I want every one of you to carry it. It's a 7-pack, and they will direct you exactly how to get this pack. Don't buy one, buy a pack. Okay? It's not like this. It's like that. It's like this. It's a pack. I couldn't tell you about the topics. You will see for yourself. See the definition, the growing of it, the measure, and so many things. But it's a pack like this. And I have time to listen to it. May God bless you so much. I'll be looking forward to interact and share myself to you on this platform. God bless you. God bless you.
for you, Friends of Breakout.
Yeah, you can.
We are in the Friends of Breakout launch gala at Crossroads Hotel in Blantyre. Apostle Joseph Ziwa has officially launched this platform. Here with me is a daughter of the House of Fountain of Victory International, Ruth Odeja. Tell me about it.
Thank you very much. It's one of those big days that we get to dine and wine with the big people like the apostle.
Yes, the man of God.
Yeah, when I registered and I was invited to this, I was really looking forward to it. So it's a great day to me, just to be part of the grace. And I think for me, because I've been following the apostle for a long time, and I've been looking for an opportunity to be able to receive the grace. Because when I see him, he speaks a lot to my life. Not just as an individual, but in every dimension of my life. So I really wanted to partner with him in a way that I would also partner in the grace that he carries.
Amen. And that is what Friends of Breakout, or being a friend of Breakout, is all about. Partnering in the grace, sharing grace and reaping grace rewards. Tell us a little more about your journey in life, what the grace of God has done for you.
Yeah, this fight's been God. That's what I keep telling myself. And specifically, I started following the apostle in 2014. And then I was under a certain ministry. But every time he would come to Logo for the meetings, I would keep following him. So the time I was moving back to Logo in my career, I was back to Blanda in my career, I said, this is my opportunity. Now I'm going to sit under the grace, listen to his teachings every other Sunday, and just experience how this is going to transform my life. And I came in Blanda in last October, and since then my life has really taken a turn that I cannot even describe. There's so much grace in every way, every sense of the word.
Alright, so there's success in your professional life.
Yes.
What do you do in your professional life or career-wise?
Professionally, I've been working like I'm a project management specialist, and I've worked in a non-government organization for a long time. So professionally, that's what I'm doing. But one thing that has really come out a lot in the last year that I'm looking at, there's a lot of you get the global attention where everybody else is saying we are looking for this and we want her to do it for us. So I've been getting a lot of that over the year, and I knew it was nothing else but the grace. And specifically, there's another thing that I've been thinking a lot about my life, because I wanted to establish something. I wanted to set up a charity organization, but I didn't have the drive just to be able to do that. But sitting under him and listening to his teachings gave me the courage to say, okay, I can launch into it. Now I'm in the final phases of doing it. So this is my exit strategy, because in the next 5 years, I'll be standing on my own and doing my own thing. But he's fueled me into that direction.
Amen.
Yes.
And that is what Friends of Breakout is all about. Partnering and partaking and sharing into the uncommon grace that is upon Apostle Joseph Ziwa. Here you are telling us a story about having vision and drive and the specifics of how to live life. And that is exactly what the grace of God does when the Holy Spirit is upon you. So thank you so much, Ruth Odeja, for sharing your story. And enjoy the rest of the gala.
Thank you very much.